Hello, and thank you for joining us on Brenda Williams' Red Hot Communication Podcast, where we answer questions like, are you fire, ice, or too nice? Our shows teach you how to become an expert communicator, where you discover what you truly want, how to ask for it, and actually get it. Stay tuned to uncover your true potential and start creating the life you want. And now, here is Brenda Williams with today's message.
All right, welcome everybody. Here we are talking today about maintaining balance. It's an inside and an outside job. And once again, I have Balian here with me, which again, he's one of my favorite peeps. We love talking about this stuff. And so I have the job today of keeping us under a tight timeline. This is just going to be a 25-minute podcast for all of you that are in a hurry out there. We're giving you some quick training and ideas and tips on the way with your busy schedules. So we're going to jump right into this and talk about juggling all of those plates that you have in the air. Does maintaining balance come naturally to all of you? What do you think?
You know what? I think that it's definitely something that takes a lot of work. Just inherently the word balance, you don't just automatically fall into balance. You have to usually calibrate things and, trial and error until you get just perfect. And essentially that's what, balancing your mind looks like.
You're right. It doesn't come naturally. But when you balance that wheel out and it rolls down the hill, what happens when you're on a bike? It flows smoothly down the hill. But when those spokes get broken, everything starts wobbling and life is not as smooth. And it can affect us in many, many ways. So today we're going to just tip our toe in the water, give you an idea of 8 key crucial areas to pay attention to when you're maintaining balance, give you a few pointers and a few tips, touch upon them, and then I'm going to guide you back to taking the assessment, the life balance assessment, which will help you really take a little deeper dive into each of these areas so that you can be consciously aware of how you're doing with your own balance. So let's get started and just talk about the first one that's near and dear to my heart. This leads into, being aware of our own thoughts. Let's talk about personal development for a few minutes.
Great.
So what are you all doing out there for personal development? Let's think about that for a second. Most people I talk to, they come to me as a coach, so I get them into personal development. They might read a book here and there. A few people will meditate, go to church on Sunday, but we're not putting that into personal development. I'm going to dump that into our spirituality bucket. Real, true personal development. When's the last time you read a book? Took a few moments out of your busy day to meditate. One of my favorites that I love sharing with everybody, especially my clients, is the morning attitude of gratitude, where you wake up and you think about your first thought of the day. And when I'm out there speaking to people, I'll ask rooms of hundreds of people, what's your first thought of the day? Do you wake up yawning and going, it's going to be a beautiful, fantastic day, and I just can't wait to get on that freeway and drive for 2 hours and go through 10 hours at work and 2 hours of meetings this evening, and I might get to bed by 10 or 11 absolutely exhausted. And most people laugh because very few people are spending time in the morning with their attitude of gratitude, thinking through their beautiful day that they're going to have. Now, I know you've been practicing that, Kelin.
Yeah, I try to definitely be grateful for everything. We have so much to be grateful for. There's people out there that don't have legs, they don't have arms, they don't have the things that, we take for granted every single day. Just opening your eyes and having, being able to see is a miracle in itself. So there's everybody has things to be grateful for, and it's just being able to take a look at those things and let those create a sense of fulfillment in your own life, so that you could kind of just get through your day knowing that you're worth it.
And we talked about challenge and change on our last podcast, the mindset, and we have to pay attention to that. I guarantee you, I challenge all of you to wake up tomorrow and be consciously aware of your first thoughts and take a moment to shift that thinking to a real positive place and say out loud for 2 minutes what you're truly grateful for. First thing, it shifts your day into a positive state. So that's just one pointer on the personal development. We're going to do some more podcasts where we go into each section of the wheel and we give you real tips and tools and resources that'll help you take that to the next level. And so will my Life Balance program. So that you can start that journey today. Listen to our commercial that'll be coming up in a few moments, and you'll learn how to get access to that program. But for now, we're going to give you little pointers. For those of you that aren't meditating, it is such a simple process to get started. All you have to do is Google meditation. You can pick 5-minute meditations. And there's a lot of people out there I talk to, myself included at one point, that never meditated. That didn't even see the value in meditation. And most people are challenged meditating because we don't know how to stop our crazy minds. So when you meditate, tell them what happens.
Well, the purpose of it is to clear your mind. So what should happen is that you slow down your thoughts a little bit. You're actually going to be able to clear your mind a little. Have no stress, because if you're not thinking about anything, you shouldn't be stressing out about anything. So you're basically just giving yourself at least 15 to 30 minutes of time where you could just be clear with yourself. Think about, what you're grateful for, what in life is just brings you happiness, and just focus on yourself for a few minutes and just, how amazing you are, and just give yourself that gratitude just for being alive, being an amazing person, having the friends, being the daughter, being the son, being the, granddaughter, the mother, the father. You get to, appreciate and acknowledge yourself for just being here.
And just get grounded. You get out of that toxic whirlwind of the life we live in, and you're able to get grounded. And, when I first started meditating, I actually went through some intense programs. And at first I was like, oh, meditation, right. Now that was years ago. But what's fascinating is if you start to embrace it, you'd be amazed. You can feel the tension releasing out of your body. And sometimes I feel like I'm floating. It is such a cool experience, and it really takes you out of the whirlwind of life. But what's really funny to me is almost everybody that meditates will have thoughts coming to their mind. And we can learn techniques to let those float by. But sometimes I'll have the craziest things come to my mind, like I left the water on the pool and it's overflowing. It's crazy what can happen when you're meditating. And one time that really did happen. So pay attention to just pick a couple things you can do. Are you going to read a spiritual book? Are you going to read something that's going to help you lift your spirits? The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz are pretty cool. I love that book.
That's a great book. Yeah.
Great way to get started. Meditating is another way. Your morning attitude of gratitude. Starting being consciously aware of the balance and the mindset is very simple to do. So there's some little pointers for you on personal development. When you look at the wheel, we're not going to have time today to go through everything. So I'm just going to point out the 8 spokes, and we'll ponder on a couple. But family and parenting. How are you all doing with your family relationships? Are you taking time to spend time with the family? What's really interesting is when you look at the wheel, you've got one side where you have your profession and your career. Now, I know a lot of business professionals that take great pride in their success and their career and making, good livings, but they don't spend a lot of time with their family. They're too busy working. Well, then the other section is where you talk about your health, which we talk about the outside job. And they're so busy with their career, they're not taking care of their health, their bodies. And I've even fallen into this. I just developed an amazing website for all of you with lots of resources and tools and programs and podcasts and videos. And it was a full-time effort with a team of 5 people for 3 months nonstop, night and day. It was pretty crazy. It was intense. And I would be sitting there developing all of these materials, and I would say, get up from the desk, go for a walk. Your back is not going to be happy. And sure enough, I was so entrenched, I would have a difficult time pulling myself away. How many of you do that? You get busy working in one area and you're not paying attention to the balance.
I know it's happened to me.
And it really can hurt you. I have back issues. So it's not a good thing when that happens to me. So I got all these little tools now. I have little tricks. I get up and do squats. I have little arm machines. I put pulleys on the door that you can get up, those rubber bands that are real simple to take anywhere. Get up, talk on the phone, stand up, get one of those stand-up desks. So many things you can do just to start tapping into taking care of your health if you don't have time to make it to the gym. Then you got the personal finance. How's that going? Is everybody making enough money? How often do you hear people say, wow, I have all the money I need?
You don't hear that too often. I think everybody's, if they are making good money, they're always trying to make more, right?
Well, make more. And then when you make more, you're so busy making money, what happens?
All these other spokes on the wheel start getting a little bit less attention, right?
Yeah, no time for the spiritual awareness, that's for sure. I'll drive by these big, beautiful homes down in Newport Coast, and I love the homes in Corona Del Mar, and I look at them, and I'm always curious to see how many people are out on their patios. And one weekend we went to Pelican Hills Golf Course, which is one of the most beautiful golf courses in the world. It's spectacular. And the homes are amazing. And I would look around to say, who's in their backyard? And you find the more money you have, the more time you work.
Yeah.
So maintaining the balance, again, no matter where you're at on the scale, no matter how much money you make, paying attention to being balanced and living a happy, joyful life does require looking at all of these spokes on the wheel. So talk about fun and enjoyment. Now, some people are having so much fun, they're not working on their career, right? So then you have the opposite problem. I see in a lot of the younger generations that I know, I studied generations in the mindset, and they are in the mindset, many of them, that we need more balance. Like they actually buy into this, right? I need more balance. I'm not going to work that hard because I don't want to be stressed out like my parents were. And if I want to go skiing, and I'll just quit my job tomorrow, is sometimes the mentality. So it's really interesting where they're on that other side, but they might not have a lot of money in the bank or the big house that they wish they had. And it's all a personal choice. There's no right or wrong answer, but it's just asking yourself, how am I doing in each of these areas? And you mentioned the intimate and social relationships when we were talking offline, how that brings such happiness into people's lives.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of research that goes into showing that, people that have a lot of close, intimate relationships with family and friends, they're just happier. It keeps them happier throughout their life, and a lot of these same studies will show that loneliness is the biggest source of unhappiness and stress. So if you take that research into consideration, there's something to be said there. And it's basically saying that you want to increase your, you want to have high and a lot of intimate social relationships. So, if that's something that you're out of balance on and you realize that you're not as happy as you could be, maybe that's a spoke that gets a little bit of focus.
Well, we're going to take a break right now, just for a few moments, and listen to this commercial on how you can get your success roadmap and your free assessment. And we're going to come right back to wrapping up the spokes on the wheel and talk a little bit more about some things that you can do to start today at creating more balance and less stress in your lives.
The rest of the message is coming your way in just a few moments. But first, we want to take a moment to thank you for being with us for today's broadcast. For over 20 years, Brenda has coached, consulted, and trained, and during that time, she's seen and heard it all. She knows firsthand what it takes to create the life you want, and her goal is to provide you with the necessary tools to get there. We invite you to start your journey today. Visit BrendaWilliamsA.com and get your free life assessment and success roadmap. The rest of the message is coming your way.
Okay, so we're back. How was that break? Are you all going to connect with me on social media now so we can invite you to all these fun events we have coming up? Lots of great things in the air and opportunities to create those social relationships, to do networking and get out there and meet more people. We're going to be having some cool events for all of you to help you in that area on having more balance. Now, I just want to take a moment to ponder on that. because there's two parts to those relationships. When I'm working with my clients, we talk about the intimate and the social. Now, the intimate can release chemicals in your body. Any of you that have ever met somebody new and exciting in your life, you know how that is in the beginning. You actually have chemicals that are released that cause you to get excited and euphoric. And you know what an amazing feeling that can be. So it's so true that when you can connect with people at a deeper level, it just makes you happier. And that doesn't have to just come from intimacy. It can come from friendships. It can come from bonding with people at work. I had a client of mine who came to me. He was one of those, we talked about personality styles. He was a driver, controller, achiever personality style. And he absolutely loved checking his checkbox. Checking his boxes and knowing he had results for the week. And he was all about, got to get things done. I take pride in reaching my goals. He was a project manager, did an amazing job. I mean, nobody could ask for more. And in the morning, he'd come in and he'd see one of his coworkers walking around with a cup of coffee. And she'd be drinking her coffee and chit-chatting. And he says to me, I used to wonder, is she ever going to get to work? What is she doing? What do you think she was doing? What do you think, Kelin?
I guess that it's that fun and enjoyment part of the wheel.
Well, having a little fun and enjoyment.
Fun.
And connecting with people.
Connecting with people.
Connecting, building relationships. And I said to him, when you have better relationships, when you connect with people, life just gets easier. It becomes more fun and it can be more rewarding. And here's some tips. Here's some ideas of things you can do in this area. I challenged him to start going out to lunch at least once a week with somebody new. When's the last time you all did that? Somebody new every week. I challenged him to start finding a way to help others. And they were doing a project management training class in the company. And he didn't need the training. He was 20 years in. But he said, I'm going to go get involved in that class so I can mentor others and help them learn and grow.
That's a beautiful thing right there.
It was a wonderful thing. And he said to me, the joy that he got from doing that was really surprising to him. Most people don't realize how rewarding it is to really help others and give back.
Oh, yeah. I'll share a little story about that. I went through college. I was always pretty much like a B plus A minus student. Came pretty easy to me because I didn't have to study that much. So when I did have to study, there's a lot of, if anybody's ever been through college, there's a lot of group work. You're always put in teams and you got to work together because that's what they're trying to get you ready to work out in the workforce and be a part of a team, right? So it makes complete sense. But, being the lone wolf type of person that I am, and with the grades that I had, for lack of a better word, I wasn't studying with the smartest people, and they weren't really helping me out at all. So that was where my mindset was at. It was like, I'm not getting anything out of this. Once I started going through my transformation work and start, thinking about my past and, experiences that I might have missed, that was one of the big ones is that, maybe I couldn't help one of those kids get to an A minus or get to a B plus like I was at, because that would have taken a lot of work. But I could have helped every single D student in that class get to a C so they could have passed. And it was something that I never even saw the opportunity of doing. But I could only imagine now that if I could have even done that for one person, it would have changed my whole experience in college. And the connection that I would have had with that one person would have been something, a small miracle that would have came out of my college career that essentially I never even saw the opportunity, because that, coming from that place of supporting others, I didn't see a value in it. So,
We're going to come back to that. Every time we talk, I come up with a new podcast we can do. And a lot of people will say, well, how do I help others? What do I have to give back? Like you said, I wasn't thinking at the time how I could even support them. My client wasn't either. But there's always a way we can give back and help others. Matter of fact, I'm going to throw this out there because I'm going to release this podcast before the holiday. Last Christmas, I went and fed the homeless on Christmas morning. Now, part of that was a little selfish because I grew up getting lots of presents under the Christmas tree. And as an adult, sometimes I go through withdrawals. So last year we said, well, we're going on a trip. We're not going to do presents this year. And I'm like, oh, waking up on Christmas morning with no presents. I'm like, so what can I do that will make a difference? Well, I'd always wanted to feed the homeless. And I've always said, I'm going to do something with the homeless. I'm going to go help the homeless. And you get busy and you never get around to it. So it's funny how the universe works. We had a party. We were going to have a party one weekend, and I had bought all these beautiful, big, huge pastry wheels, and I got sick. So I had to cancel the party. So I said to my husband, let's go drop the pastries off. Let's drive around Santa Ana and look for the homeless.
Wow.
And so we went out on a Sunday morning and we started looking for them. Now, they were all spread out. I was surprised. I didn't know where Tent City was, so I didn't find them quickly. But we did some research. We drove the streets and we found someone that pointed us to a building where they actually have a homeless shelter under the building.
Oh, wow.
And luckily, they have security there. So it's at least a safe environment. And I said, I want to help the homeless. What can I do? And she said, can you feed them breakfast on Christmas morning? And I said, that would be perfect. And now I didn't have a clue what I was getting in for. I thought I'd bake a few cupcakes or something. And then all of a sudden it was, well, there'll be 300 people. Now, a lot of people don't know this. I used to be a cook in the Army.
Okay.
And I thought, no problem. I can cook for 300 people, not thinking what I was getting into. So then when we started planning it and we started thinking about the food, the amount of food, time, and effort, how are we going to keep it hot? What were the logistics? It was a little crazy. And I thought, I can do this. And I got people together. Long story short, we made an amazing breakfast burritos that I kept hot, which was a miracle, because they said, we don't get hot food a lot. And to get hot food on Christmas morning meant a lot to them. So the reason I just went into this long story is because I'm going to do it again this year. So anybody out there that hears this between now and Christmas, we're in 2017, you have time to reach out to me and get involved, because I'm going to do something special for them this year, something on Christmas morning. So if you want to help cook, if you want to, contribute coffee, or anything for goodie bags, anything you can do that would help you give back to others. It's an amazing feeling. And when you do it, you'll be surprised how rewarding it is inside. Again, it's about the balance. And we have a deep connection or a deep yearning to really want to connect with other people. And when you give back, you'll be amazed at the reward that you get, because that Christmas morning was one of the best ones I've ever experienced.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that's a beautiful challenge, and it might open people's hearts. Because I think if somebody would have actually challenged me to help somebody get that C student or that D student to a C, I might have taken that challenge on. So, I guess what I am saying is, if you're out there listening and you're feeling some resistance to this challenge, maybe I'd recommend really taking it serious, a little bit more serious than you might be thinking about it right now, and step out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, what am I doing to help people? It's part of being balanced. It's giving back to the rest of the world, and it'll come back to you tenfold. So we dipped our toe in the water today on the Wheel of Life. I recommend you take the assessment, so you'll get those details at the end of the podcast, and do a little deeper digging on how you show up on this scale, because it does take consciously being aware and focusing your attention to make it happen. I'm here to tell you, from the majority of the people I've met on this earth, it's not a natural thing.
Yeah, and like you said, this is all about awareness, and awareness doesn't come sitting in your comfort zone, right? So yeah, I think taking this assessment is you're going to get a lot of awareness about where you guys stand right now, and then you'll at least have a starting point on what you get to work on if you choose to.
So enjoy the tools. Go and visit our website and get some more resources to help you learn and grow. And you can contact me if you want to get involved to do this special thing on Christmas this year. All right, I look forward to hearing from all of you. And
guys, if any of this landed for you, please share this podcast with any friends and family that you feel this could help them.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Thanks so much. Bye.
Thanks for being with us for today's broadcast. Be sure to check out BrendaWilliamsA.com and connect with her through social media. While you are there, remember to sign up for her free life assessment and take a look at all the helpful resources. Again, that's BrendaWilliamsA.com. Join us next time as we share more on how you can continue to elevate and accelerate your life. This program is sponsored by Brenda Williams, A World of Opportunity.